Hey, good Thursday morning. We've had a lot to say about the church in recent videos, and of course I've been drawn to consider the church and study the church and talk about the church, be concerned about the life of the church. One clear aspect of church ministry the New Testament is 100% clear on is the church's responsibility to care for the poor and the disadvantaged. Jesus said in the Gospels, the poor you're going to have with you always, and so we understand that no government program is going to eliminate poverty. They're always going to be poor due to the consequences of sin on the world, but also due to our own foolish choices, which is another consequence of sin on the world. So we'll never eliminate poverty, but we are called to kind of alleviate the suffering of poverty. 1 Timothy chapter 5 talks about those who are true widows or widows indeed. And what that clearly and literally means is those who have no other source of help. It was before the age of government intervention, and so the responsibility primarily went to the families. If someone's truly a widow, but she has siblings that are able to care for her, certainly they ought to. If she has children that are able to care for her, then absolutely they ought to. Times have changed and evolved a whole lot since then, but family ought to be our first net of safety and security. But it does go on to give the church responsibility. Look at Acts chapter 6. The Bible talks about the widows that were neglected in distribution and ministry. They clearly were widows indeed. They didn't have anybody else to care for them. There was no government service to care for them. And so the church had that responsibility, and there was concern that it wasn't being done fairly. And so the church actually came together as a beautiful witness and came up with a plan to serve. James chapter 1 says, pure religion before God and the Father is this, to care for widows and orphans in their affliction. And so we have a responsibility to care for the poor. I had the privilege the last couple of weeks of distributing several food boxes. In fact, 2 of them I needed to drop off because the folks didn't have transportation. Dropped off one of those last night after church. And as a church, we've had the opportunity recently to help folks with rent and to care for folks in other ways, occasionally help out with the utility bill. And we don't have the budget to do that endlessly or in an unlimited sense, but we can certainly do it from time to time as the Lord blesses us and as folks come to us with needs, and we sense God's discernment has given us liberty and opportunity to help in that area. But that's another thing that the church does, in addition to ministering in the community, in addition to sharing the gospel, in addition to gathering for public worship. We're to care for those who are in need. Thank you for your donations that make all of that possible. And don't hesitate to spread the word that when someone has a need, the church can be available to help. And we're honored and privileged to be able to do that. Hey, have a great Thursday. I look forward to visiting at Baptist Hospital today. I also get to speak at Heritage Woods later this morning. And so some exciting things ahead today. And I hope that you'll have a great Thursday for the Lord's glory.